No! No! This is why we go to Costco. I just spilled it all over. What do I do? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen. I hope you all had a very happy Thanksgiving, and I hope somebody out there tried my mac and cheese. In the end of that video, though, I did say stay tuned for something sweet. So we're finally baking something on this channel. If you haven't noticed, I'm more of a cooker, not a baker, but everybody has been seeing these cupcakes all over my Instagram and all over everything, and everyone's like, what is that recipe? Here to show you. Anyways, they're more hard to say than they are to make. We're gonna make pumpkin cream cheese cupcakes with streusel topping. Sounds like a lot, but it's not. Very excited to use this. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so mind your business if you see my phone. I'm not gonna memorize the recipe by heart, except for snickerdoodles. That is the only recipe I know by heart. We'll make those another time though. Right now, you always have to mix the wet ingredients first. Do not make this mistake, okay? So, we're gonna set aside these so you can see what's going on in the little bowl. The whole purpose as to why I got a clear bowl is so you guys could see what was going on, and then I don't bake on my channel. You know, that's just how it is. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little bit different on this channel this time. For the people that are here just for the recipe, I'm gonna put a little screen of just the recipe so you can screenshot it. But the people who are here to actually see me individually put the ingredients into the bowl one by one, I love you all. I will be doing that and then listing the ingredients that way. Hopefully that made sense. So now, like I said, for the people who are here to watch the recipe, we're gonna put in the ingredients one by one. And like I said, we're gonna start with the wet ingredients. So right now we're gonna use 8 tablespoons of butter. It's like one stick, but we get our butter at Costco and it's this huge block of butter. So I don't know how to measure it unless I melt it. So I'm gonna put 8 tablespoons of melted butter into this bowl. Then we'll move on to the sugar. We got 1, 2, I preheated my oven to 375, by the way. 375, not 350. The streusel topping has to be crunchy and crumbly or it won't cook right and they won't look right. Start with 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar. I'm not packing it, seems right. This is why I don't bake on my channel, because people will be like, baking is an exact science. As long as it tastes good, I'm fine with it. So now we're gonna do 1/2 cup of white sugar. I hope I don't drop it. Okay. Mixy, mixy. Cream it together, you know, make sure all that sugar's in there. And I use the scrapey attachment because it literally just scrapes the bowl, so you don't have to keep turning the machine off, scraping the bowl, turn it back on. This little attachment came with it, saves my life. I'm gonna stop right there. It's perfectly blended together. You do not want to overmix this. For snickerdoodles, you want the butter and sugar to almost be whipped, but for cupcakes, you have to get that cakey texture. You do not wanna overmix anything. It's very important. Next, I'm gonna do 2 eggs and then a little bit of vanilla. Cracky. Oh, that was a good crack. 1. Why do the French only have 1 egg for breakfast? Because 1 egg is enough. Turn it back on. Speed number 2, let those eggs get in there. Pour a little bit of that vanilla in there. Cool. Now for the last and final wet ingredient. You're gonna do 1 whole 15-ounce can of the pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling. That's very important too. Baking, I feel like I have to be so specific, because if you guys mess this up, it's not on me, you know? You baked it, not me. Okay. Now turn it on, barely mix it, and then we'll move on to the dry ingredients. Side, 2 inches. You will need an ice cream scoop, by the way. This is out because I scoop the mixture, because with cupcakes, with this recipe, you have to do a little bit of batter, then the cream cheese, and then more batter, and then the streusel. But you have to make sure that it doesn't overflow the cupcake cup, or your cupcakes will just be huge and they will not look pretty. You want these cupcakes to be petite and pretty and crumbly. So we're gonna do our dry ingredients separately in this bowl and then dump them into the wets. You don't add wets to the dries, you add dries to the wets. Thank you. Gonna do 1 1/2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. We don't do gluten-free in this house. I'm gonna do 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda right on top of the flour. Now your spices. So I went ahead and already put my spices into this little bowl. When you think of pumpkin pie cupcakes, you're gonna be like, it's just pumpkin pie spice. It is not. If you use just pumpkin pie spice, it just doesn't taste right. You have to use the individual spices, if that makes sense. So what I did here is I did about 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. And then I would say about 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. So that's all in this little bowl here, right on top of the flour. We're gonna do a little bit of salt. A little bit, that was quite a bit, oh well. Okay, so that's all the dry ingredients, just flour, baking soda, and your spices. Not seasonings, spices. Mix that with a little baby spatula till it's very thoroughly mixed. Trust me, you wanna mix it before you add it in. Because with this, like I said, you do not want to overmix. So if you can cut out as much of the mixing as possible, your texture is gonna be on point. I'm just saying. Probably, why am I better at teaching baking than I am at cooking? I don't know. Okay, set that aside. So you see how it's all brown, like a little bit brown? You gotta make sure those spices are evenly dispersed. You don't want any cinnamon swirls in your flour. And if there are, that's fine. Pull this back forward. This is my baby, so I treat it with such care. Make sure that lid is locked. Unlock it real quick. Pour it up. I'm gonna do about 1/2 of the dry mixture into the bowl. About 1/2. So you do not want to overmix it. You don't want flour everywhere either. Low speed. Okay. Go ahead and add in more as soon as it's even like semi-mixed in. Turn it on. Mix it completely in there. You see how it just scrapes the sides of the bowls for you? Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay. And now, let's get working on our cream cheese filling. And streusel topping. We could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Let's go ahead and get started on our cream cheese filling. Very simple, 3 ingredients. You wanna use, I guess 8 ounces is the standard, 8 ounces. I'm gonna make sure it's softened. Oh, it's very softened. Like, it may not even come out of the package, it's too soft. That's it. One thing, get a little fork, because I don't have a whisk. I do, but it just doesn't work as well. Do a couple teaspoons of vanilla. You kind of want a little bit of moisture in there, you know? And last time, I swear they hit so different when I put a dabble of maple syrup in here. The pumpkin and maple, oh, so let me do that. This maple syrup is so overpowering, you want just a little bit. Pumpkin and maple, you can't go wrong there. So I'm gonna do like a 1/4 teaspoon. Like, I'm not even kidding, just a little. That's good. That's it. Then, we're gonna mix this together. You can't just mix cream cheese by hand, and you need a machine and you're not baking right. Cream it together. I know you can't see what's going on in the bowl, but all I'm doing is just mixing every which way. And you want it to be pretty, not like this. You do not want it to be like this. You want it to be way more liquidy. I can't tell you guys, you do not want it stuck in your cupcakes. You want it throughout the cupcakes. So I'm gonna do a little more vanilla. Creamy, you know what I mean? Like you can just run your fork through it. It's not just like plop. I don't know. Could be a little bit more wet. But I feel like this way, it's more spreadable throughout the cupcakes, you know? Very easy and simple, and it tastes like cheesecake. Next, we go on to our streusel topping. Guys, we're almost done. We gotta make the streusel topping, pop them in the oven, and then eat one as hot as you possibly can stand it. Let's make the streusel topping. This is my favorite part. 2/3 cup of flour. I may double it, because this makes a lot of muffins. Sometimes the streusel just is not enough. But today might have to be, because I'm lazy. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. These jars, in case you're wondering, Dollar Tree. And they are the best. They keep the brown sugar from like clumping. They keep the flour nice and moist. Dollar Tree. Cause we po. No! No! This is why we go to Costco. I just spilled it all over. What do I do? This is why you go to Costco though, because I spilled so much and it looks like I didn't even spill any. So, you know, it is what it is. 1 teaspoon cinnamon. This is half, so I'm gonna do 2, obviously. 2, and then 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Our favorite. 1, I think it's more actually, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do a little bit more. I feel like last time I used like 10 tablespoons or something. I don't know why that sounds familiar. So it looks like this. I'm gonna mix it all together. It's supposed to be crumbly, not smooth. So if you gotta add more of something, don't be afraid. Mix it all together, and you know that is the best of both worlds. I need more melted butter. I knew it. 1 more tablespoon. Actually, let me just do this. It's forming crumbs. You see how they're all just crumbling in there? That is what you want. And I will give you a little tippy for streusel. Like I said, somehow I know more about baking than I do cooking. So, there has been many trial and errors with this streusel topping specifically. The muffins and cream cheese, I nail it every time. But I did mess up with the streusel, and this is why. The first recipe, or the second recipe that I found, I tried to make this recipe for a Friendsgiving I was invited to. I had to make them again and they turned out great the second time, but the first time I just looked up a streusel topping recipe, and for some reason, instead of brown sugar, she said white sugar and cold butter instead of melted butter. I will tell you that it messed up those muffins so bad. That streusel topping was non-existent by the time they came out of the oven. The butter, so with pie crust, you put in the chunks of cold butter. With streusel, you don't do that because with the pie crust, the butter is supposed to melt throughout, right? With streusel, you want it to stay on top. You want it to stay crumbly and crunchy. You don't want it to melt and dissipate into the muffin, or else this whole process was for nothing. So this to me seems absolutely perfect. Melted butter, brown sugar, not white sugar, and cinnamon. And you're good to go. And I feel like this, let's just try one. Let's just try a crumb. Oh my God, that's perfect. I love that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just like me. Anyways, now I'm gonna spray the muffin tins. Since I'm taking these somewhere, I'm not gonna use a metal muffin pan, nor do I wanna do the dishes of the muffin pan. Cupcake pan, whatever you know. Spray that. I'm gonna do 3. Whoa. And then you line them. You don't wanna spray the cups. You wanna spray the pan, so if the muffin overflows, it'll just come right out. So this is not complicated at all. I'm gonna unlock the lid, take off my attachment, bang, bang, bang. What? My fiance would like to lick. Happily donate the attachment to your fiance to lick. And scoopy. I'm gonna scoop like a quarter. Like just, is it good? It's actually good? Good. Like a dibble dabble in each cup because we're gonna layer cream cheese on top. You want just the bottom coated with the pumpkin because the pumpkin's really gonna be morely on top. You just have to make sure that these don't overflow or your streusel topping will be wasted. That's probably too much, but one's not gonna hurt everything. Actually, it will, but I think I might just do a spoon instead. Okay, if I hold it, you can see the darkness, how it's like as thick as a Reese's cup. Like just almost none in the bottom of the cupcake cup. You want these to be just layered and swirled and crumbly and oh, just so delicious. So I'm gonna move on to the next pan. Just gonna drop it into the cups and then I'll spread it. That might work better for me. Ooh. If you guys wanna see my apple pie recipe, by the way, I'll show it to you. Cause I make a good apple pie. Trust me. Cream cheese. Cream cheese time. Okay, yes, you see how creamy it is? It's so whipped. It's not like stuck to itself, you know what I mean? It's gonna swirl so nicely in these muffins, cupcakes. What's the difference between a muffin and a cupcake? I don't know. Ask your mom, because I can't ask mine. Okay, now this is kind of a delicate process because you don't want just a pocket of cream cheese in the muffin. You pretty much want like a level of cream cheese, like just this little, a section, not like a spot. You know what I mean? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take this spoon. I would say about a teaspoon and a half of cream cheese per muffin. Sounds about right. Take your little spatula, put the blob on, and then just use both of those devices to spread the cream cheese on top of that muffin. Cupcake. Why do I keep saying that? Somebody in the comments is gonna correct me and I'm not gonna be happy about it. Okay, it's spread in there. As long as you don't see orange, I think you're good to go. And then use both devices to spread it around on top of that cupcake. So let me do it one more time since you're here. About a teaspoon and a half. Plop it on there. And then spread. Smash and spread. And then it will give this like very cute layer of cream cheese within the muffin, and you'll be able to see the cream cheese. It's not just like, oh, is there cream cheese in here? Oh, you'll know because you'll see it. Here we go. I'll do it one more time, and then you'll probably see me when I'm working on the last one because I don't know how to do the fast forwardy thingy. Spready, spready. Okay, so now I have all of my cream cheese spread on top of the muffin mixture. We're gonna put a little bit more muffin mixture. We're gonna put the streusel, and then we're gonna bake them, and then we're gonna eat them. Sound good? Sounds good to me. You don't have a choice because you're just watching. Yeah. This time I'm gonna use my scoop. Nope, I'm not, because it's gonna be too much. I do not want these overflowing like at all. Streusel has to be just right on top of that. That one's gonna be full. That's okay. Spreading the muffin on top of that cream cheese layer. Leaving a little bit of cupcake lining on top. Like that. Pour in this middle guy. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I think I made exactly the right amount of batter for 3 trays. I think we're good. That one doesn't look pretty, but Streusel will cover it up. Stir, stir. Yeah, that's awesome. Proud of myself right now. Last tray. So we have pumpkin cupcake, cream cheese, pumpkin cupcake. And now all we're missing is our streusel. Just sprinkle it on. You wanna like fill up the top and smash it down into the batter a little so it doesn't just all completely fall off. You want it to bake into the muffin a little. Do it again. Smash it into the batter a little. Well, I ran out of streusel and I'm too lazy to make more. So I think we're gonna have, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a pumpkin cheesecake muffin. It's just missing the topping. But we have 12 with topping. So I mean, could it really be that bad? Okay, so now just throw these babies into the oven at 375. I would say about 15, 16 minutes. I always say, I'm gonna let you know when I'm done, but I never do. So I'm just gonna tell you now, it's probably gonna be about 15 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. That's pretty much the standard for all baking. I am not proud of this tray, but I'm very proud of these 2 trays. Let's just take a second. They're so crumbly. Okay, they're so crumbly. They smell delicious. The batter is delicious. They're just like perfectly layered. The streusel like perfectly levels out with the top so the muffins won't just explode in the oven. So I'd say all in all, for my 7th time making these in the last week, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm gonna pop these into the oven and I will see you in 15 minutes while I shove a very hot one in my mouth, disregarding the temperature. I'm gonna do this. Let them rest on the cooling rack. Can we seriously talk about how beautiful these look? I'm gonna pull at least one out so I can handle it. Oh man, that looks gorgeous. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put this one on a plate, cut it open, and then show you. Let's undress. Oh my God, I'm so excited right now. Look at that steam. Oh, it's like falling apart. I love this. Let's dig in. Oh my God, you guys, you're kidding. Those look stunning. Okay, they're super hot. I don't know if I made enough for this party because everybody might have to have a minimum of 3 to themselves. Those are immaculate. Okay, I think my suggestion for these is you have to serve them warm. If you put them in the oven for like 5 minutes before you serve them to your guests, it will absolutely make the difference. The cream cheese has to be ooey gooey. And those crunchy things on top, they have to be crunchy. The muffin has to be warm. You just gotta eat these muffins. A little complicated, but that's okay. I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Don't know if I'll be making something savory or something sweet. Maybe you guys can let me know what you'd like to see. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna go devour this. I'm gonna go devour this, knowing that it's gonna give me the sugar headache that I don't need this evening. But that's why we have Advil. See you in the next one.